Taeyoung's vanilla lotion and the shampoo. Jungkook had teased him about once sweet. Soft, like him. He laid him down on the bed, brushed the hair off his forehead, and pulled the blanket over his curled frame. Taeyoung cracked one eye open, half-lidded and so warm it made Jungkook's throat burn. "Stay?" he whispered again. Jungkook didn't answer with words. He crawled under the blanket, pressed himself to Taeyoung's back, wrapped him up and kissed his temple. He stayed like that, listening to the tiny hitch in Taeyoung's sleepy breath, the way his fingers curled into Jungkook's arm like he was terrified. He'd vanish if he let go. And somewhere between the soft weight of the night and the promise, tucked in a hoodie sleeve, they both drifted off. 2 warm heartbeats and a world outside they'd face later. Together. Orpha's POV. The sun poured through the sliver of curtain. Taeyoung forgot to close last night. A pale wash of gold catching on the soft mess of his hair and the slope of Jungkook's bare shoulder. Taeyoung stirred first, blinking blearily, mouth dry and cheeks warm where they'd been pressed to Jungkook's chest all night. He could feel him breathing. Slow, steady, safe. He shifted, only for Jungkook to tighten his arm around his waist and bury his nose into the crook of the Taeyoung's neck. "Coo!" Taeyoung giggled sleepily when he felt warm lips brushing lazily at his jaw. Morning, baby." Jungkook's voice was hoarse, sleep-heavy, laced with that sweetness that made Taeyoung's chest flutter. He nudged his nose along Taeyoung's jawline, kissing under his ear, then the corner of his lips. Taeyoung turned his head shyly, meeting him halfway, soft, sleepy kisses that tasted like warmth and last night secrets. Jungkook sucked lightly on his bottom lip, humming when Taeyoung giggled against his mouth. "You okay?" Jungkook murmured, pulling back to just enough to brush his thumb over Taeyoung's cheek. "Still sore?" Taeyoung's cheeks flamed pink. He buried his face in Jungkook's neck instead of answering, making him laugh softly. Before he could hide more, a loud bang rattled the apartment door. Jungkook froze, wide-eyed, arms still around Taeyoung's bare waist. "Tae." It was Himin. Of course it was Himin. "Tae, I swear if you don't open up right now, I'm—" Before they could react, the bedroom door burst open. Himin stormed in, phone in hand, words tumbling out until he froze. There, in the spill of morning light, Taeyoung half buried in Jungkook's arms. Hair messy, hoodie sliding off one shoulder, lips red and swollen. Jungkook's shirtless chest pressed flush to Taeyoung's back, his sleepy eyes blinking at the very shocked best friend at the door. Himin's jaw dropped. He pointed an accusing finger. "Look who came home all ruined and now caught red-handed." Taeyeon squeaked, trying to tug the blanket over his head. But Jungkook just chuckled, pressing a teasing kiss to Taeyoung's temple. "Coo." Taeyoung giggled sleepily when he felt warm lips brushing lazily at his jaw. "Hyung, get out." Taeyoung whined, voice muffled under the covers. Himin ignored him completely, stepping further into the room. "Oh, don't you hyung me. I ran here to tell you about your fandom. Meltdown and instead I find." He gestured dramatically at the sight before him. This. Taeyoung peeked out, face flushed. "Himin, get out or I'll block you." But Himin was unstoppable, mischief gleaming in his eyes. "You know what? I'll wait in the living room. And when you come out, you're telling me everything, why you're limping, why your lips look like they survived a hurricane, and why Mr. Superstar hair looks like he owns this bed." He slammed the door dramatically behind him, his voice still echoing. "And don't even try to lie this time." Taeyoung groaned, burying his face back in Jungkook's chest while Jungkook laughed into his hair. "You okay?" Jungkook whispered. Grinning, Taeyoung peeked up, pouty and half asleep. No, I want to stay here forever. Himin sat on the couch like a king on a throne, arms crossed. Well. Himin's eyes danced over them both, pausing deliberately at the marks on Taeyoung's neck before. Sliding to Jungkook's hand, still resting on Taeyoung's hip. Look who crawled out of their filthy little love nest. Hyun whined, Taeyoung whined, hiding half his face behind Jungkook's arm. Oh, don't you hyung me. Kim Taeyoung. Hymin leaned forward, voice dripping with scandalous delight. So? Gonna tell me everything? Should I guess? Because judging by how you're limping, and how you both look, like you didn't sleep for a second. Oh, good morning, superstar. Hymin shot back, mock sweet. Had fun wrecking my best friend? Leaning back like a judge ready for the full confession. Hyung, Taeyeon squeaked, burying his face in Jungkook's shoulder. Hymin folded his arms tighter. Or should I guess? Spill everything. Now. Taeyoung peeked out from Jungkook's shoulder, voice muffled. It was our first time. Hymin's eyes nearly popped out of his head. In the car? Jungkook bit his lip to hide a laugh, rubbing Taeyoung's back. We might have planned it a bit. Planned? You filthy sinners. He leaned closer, eyes wide and wicked. So Tae, how was it, huh? Did Loverboy treat you good? Did you cry? Taeyoung flushed scarlet, hiding again, but Hymin wouldn't let up. Taeyoung mumbled, voice so tiny Jungkook could barely hear it. I felt shy when he asked me. I'm entering. Hymin squealed so loud Jungkook winced. Oh my god, baby, you let him talk like that. How did it feel? Taeyoung peeked up, cheeks burning but eyes dreamy. It hurt, but I felt so full. He held me so tight. His voice cracked into a shy giggle as hair hid in Jungkook's chest again. Jungkook tugged Taeyoung closer, pressing a kiss to the top of his messy hair. His own ears glowed pink. Hyung, maybe don't make him spill everything. Hymin wagged a finger at them both. Nope. This is my payment for dealing with the scandal you're about to. He softened, though, a grin breaking through as he reached out and flicked Teaching's forehead. I'm happy for you, Tae. Just don't forget who's gonna yell at the fandom when they come for your pretty neck. Pretending to gag Right as in front of Jungkook him pressed another soft kiss to Taeyoung's temple. Taeyoung giggled, tugging Jungkook's hands tighter around his waist. Thank you, Hyung. Hymin rolled his eyes. Oh God, if you're gonna make out, at least feed me first. Hymin stood up dramatically. I want pancakes. And I want the rest of the story while we eat. Every filthy detail. Jungkook laughed, whispering into the young's hair. Guess we're making breakfast for 3. Taeyoung only giggled, hiding his face in Jungkook's chest, happier than he'd ever been. Though his slightly pink author's pov, the kitchen was warm with soft morning, sunlight spilling across the counter. Jungkook stood by the stove, sleeves rolled up, flipping pancakes. Like he'd done it 100 times. Ears betrayed how aware he was of. Taeyoung pressed up, against his side every other minute. Taeyoung sat on the counter, legs swinging, wearing Jungkook's oversized shirt this time, one shoulder slipping. low to reveal fresh purple marks blooming on his collarbone. He'd giggle every time Jungkook leaned close to whisper, "Don't move so much. You'll get syrup on your thighs." Meanwhile, Hymin sat at the tiny table, chin resting in his palm, eyes darting between them with shameless delight. So, Hymin propped his feet up on a chair, voice dripping sugar and scandal. "Did you even sleep last night? Or was my best friend too busy, crying and shaking in a luxury bathtub?" Taeyoung squeaked, covering his face with both hands. "Hyung, I hate you." Jungkook shot Hymin a look over his shoulder, fighting a grin. "Hyung, do you have to?" "Yes," Hymin said firmly, reaching for a strawberry from the plate Taeyoung had half prepped. "Yes, I do. I deserve this entertainment for free, and I'll keep asking until I die." Taeyoung peeked through his fingers, voice small but warm. "He took care of me so well. Carried me, gave me a massage. It hurt, but it was nice." Hymin let out a scandalized squeal that made Taeyoung bury his face in Jungkook's shoulder again, brushing his hair off his forehead with syrup-sticky fingers. "Be careful," Jungkook murmured, thumb brushing Taeyoung's lips, leaving a sweet trace. "You'll get me in trouble with your Hyung again." Hymin made a dramatic gagging noise. "Oh my god, at least give me one good PG-13 detail for free." Hymin threw his head back laughing, eyes watering. "I'm framing you two on my wall. The filthiest romance scandal. And it's my best friend's soft eyes that'll ruin the world. Disgusting. I love it." Taeyoung giggled into his mug, stealing a strawberry to press to Jungkook's lips. Jungkook bit it straight from his fingers, eyes soft, thumb brushing Taeyoung's knee. Hymin just watched them like they were a movie, voice warm under the teasing. "I'm really happy for you, though." "You idiots. Seriously. Just don't let the world chew you up, okay?" Taeyoung beamed at him, leaning closer into Jungkook's side. "Promise." And when Jungkook pressed a quick, secret kiss to Taeyoung's hair, Hymin pretended to gag again, but his grin never faded. Jungkook's pavev. He couldn't stop staring. No matter how many times he told himself act normal, stop staring, his eyes kept drifting back to Taeyoung, perched. Drifting back to Taeyoung, perched on the counter in his shirt. Sleeves drooping, thighs bare, a soft flush clinging to his cheeks that no amount of teasing could wash away. He didn't know what he'd expected when he messaged Taeyoung that first reckless night. Maybe a distraction. Maybe trouble. He hadn't expected this. Soft mornings. Pancakes. Hymin's shrieking commentary. Like a soundtrack to something that felt painfully real and private. "He looked so tiny last night," Jungkook thought, voice echoing in his own head. "So tiny underneath me, so brave. He cried for me and still begged for more. And now he's here acting like it's the most normal thing in the world to sit here looking ruined and giggling at my pancakes." Taeyoung turned to him suddenly, catching him mid-thought, big eyes half asleep, a shy smile curling at the corner of his mouth. God, Jungkook thought, he's so pretty it's unfair. "Are you okay?" Taeyoung asked softly, like he could hear the whole chaos inside his chest. Hymin made a fake vomiting noise behind them, stirring his coffee with theatrical disgust. "I swear to God, Jungkook, the stage prince is just a giant baby boyfriend. Now, you two make me sick." But Jungkook only laughed, because Hymin was right. He was sick. Sick with how good it felt to hold this boy in front of the whole world, but still keep him hidden for himself. The soft, "I'm entering," Taeyoung's broken whisper, You're bleeding again, and the wild, unstoppable way they'd crashed into each other. And then the bathtub, the sweet taste of tears and soap, and his name echoing off tile. It scared him how badly he wanted to say I love you. How the words climbed up his throat when he pressed that last sleepy kiss to Taeyoung's temple. How they almost spilled out when Taeyoung fell asleep in his lap, soft and small like a dream. He felt Hyunmin's eyes on him, sharp, knowing, impossible to fool. You're falling too deep, aren't you? Hyunmin asked, voice low enough that Taeyoung wouldn't hear. Jungkook just smiled, running a hand through Taeyoung's messy hair. Yeah, but it's too late, Hyung. He's already mine. Taeyoung turned at that exact moment, leaning in to press syrup lips to Jungkook's. His smile was sleepy, trust glowing through his eyes like dawn. Can I have another pancake? Jungkook laughed, heart aching with so much softness he thought it might kill him. Anything you want, baby. Anything. Jungkook's parfait. Taeyoung's laughter still echoed in the kitchen, soft and bright, tangled with the scent of leftover syrup and warm coffee. He disappeared into the living room to grab his phone, mumbling something about showing Jungkook a playlist he made just for them. That left Jungkook leaning back against the counter, half smiling at the doorway where Taeyoung had just stood. And Hyunmin, arms crossed, blocking his view. Okay, superstar, talk. Hyunmin's tone dropped like a cold splash of water. Not race of playful teasing now, just that sharp, older brother edge that made Jungkook feel like he was 18 again, lying to his manager about where's he'd been. Jungkook pushed off the counter, voice low. What's there to talk about, Hyung? Hyunmin stepped closer, eyes flashing. Don't Hyung me. I know that look. You're gone for him. You'd burn your own stage for him if he asked you to. And he'd never ask. But that's the problem. Jungkook swallowed. The silence between them felt heavier than any sold-out stadium. Taeyoung's not like us, Hyunmin continued, voice softer but sharper too. He doesn't know what the world can do when it sees something it wants to break. And you're letting him think he's safe just because he's with you. I am keeping him safe. Jungkook snapped, too fast, too defensive. Heated how desperate it sounded. I'm careful. He trusts me. Yeah? Hyunmin raised an eyebrow. Then tell me what happens when the wrong fan account posts a photo. Or when the press gets a taste. Or when your company finds out you've got your tongue halfway down a pretty fan's throat in the backseat of your car. Who do you think bleeds first, Jungkook? You or him? Jungkook flinched. The memory of Taeyoung's soft cry, "You're bleeding again," flickering behind his eyes like a bruise. Hyunmin softened a little, but his hand came up to rest on Jungkook's shoulder, a weight heavier than the spotlight ever felt. I'm not telling you to let him go, Hyunmin said quietly. God knows he'd follow you right off a cliff if you asked. But think. Don't drag him off that cliff without telling him there's a drop. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Taeyoung's voice floated in from the living room, a quiet hum, completely oblivious to the thunder waiting for him outside this small, stolen bubble. Jungkook found his voice. Hoarse. I know, Hyung. I'd die before I let him get hurt. Hyunmin looked at him like he almost believed him, and like that was the problem.